Welcome back to the Ultimate Sports Network. My name is Frank Gordon. As always, we are on our interview segment, and we are introducing people that are now on the Ultimate Sports Network, introducing them to you and the rest of the network. So, sir, go right ahead.
So I'm Ryan Pesciotta. Just coming on, excited to get started. I love to write about sports, so like baseball, basketball, football. Those are the main three. Graduated from Penn State, so big time Penn State fan. Sadly, like the Mets and the Jets, so those definitely counteract the good.
Yeah.
Definitely fun to stay around and watch the madness.
Yeah. What started you? What started your passion? What stoked the flames? Sports-wise.
Just from like when I was a little kid, like I always loved sports, I always loved playing them, and then I hurt my shoulder playing baseball, so then from then it kind of became a different approach to it and more just watching and discussing and just remembering stats and just going like that.
What is your favorite baseball memory, whether either when you played or something you've seen?
Probably when the Johan threw his no-hitter. Because I remember that game because I actually had a game that night, and it was like my dad was on his phone, like looking at the box for the whole night, like, oh, he still got it, he still got it, he still got it.
It is amazing how we get to get our interests and our passions. We kind of get them all at the same time now. So we're able to divide that. Go, okay, I know my kid's playing, but over here, I can watch. Yeah, and that's pretty cool. So if you had a choice, let's say everybody's playing all at the same time, Mets, Penn State, everybody, and someone said, here's a ticket to go to one of them, which one would you choose?
I would say probably the Penn State game because honestly, I don't think there's anything like that atmosphere in any sport. I had the opportunity to work on the field for a lot of the games down there when I was there.
Cool.
And working down there on a whiteout was probably the craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, give us an idea of what that is. I mean, us old folks that sit in the stands or watch it at home, we don't remember. Oh, I do because I remember I went to Ohio State, as you know, but we don't remember that being on the field and the whole thing. What is that experience like for someone on the field?
So it's actually just a crazy environment because it's always going to be the best game. So it's normally the Ohio State or Michigan game. This year it was Auburn, and that ended up being a really good game. But it's basically 110,000 people all in white in the stands going crazy. And they've been pretty much going since like 9 o'clock in the morning because the tailgate started at like 9 o'clock in the morning and the game's not until like 8:30 at night. So you got 110 passionate fans just going crazy for 3.5 hours. And then you got a pretty good football game in front of you too, which is also but,
so if you were to spot, say, an Auburn fan or two in the stands, what's their reaction to this entire thing?
Everybody, I think, pretty much likes it. Even the away fans, because it's kind of just, even if your team loses, it's just really nothing like that.
Great day.
And it's just like kind of a memory that, like, you know, like I was actually there and I was there to listen and I was there to just see, because it's just, there's nothing really like it. It gets so loud in there.
Well, they call it Happy Valley for a reason, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So transitioning from that to the passion of writing, when you sit down, what is your process?
I just enjoy writing about stuff and just talking about, just sharing information, because it's honestly what I like to do. I like to research all that stuff and just kind of hold it in my head and then just like see stuff and tell somebody about it, to just do that stuff.
Yeah, and I've mentioned on here before that I wrote a book a long time ago, and the hardest thing for me to do was to be spontaneously creative. That was easy. To be creative on purpose was hard. Sit down and go, at this point in time, I am going to create something. And that's tough. But if you always have ideas flowing, that's pretty cool. So if you get stuck, or if you say, I have a deadline or whatever, how do you get yourself to say, I'm going to do this right now?
I just kind of push myself. I don't really have many issues like writing down ideas and getting stuff down. It's more of I just sometimes lack the drive sometimes. I think I
Okay.
just have to push myself, and that's what I've been trying to work with and get into writing every day. And I'm really finding for the first time actually doing daily stuff.
Okay.
So definitely really interesting, and I'm definitely having a good time so far.
Cool. Now, we've mentioned when our meetings and stuff that, I think that real jobs suck because I don't like real jobs. So if you were to take this to somewhere, where would you like to take it to?
I just like to get a good following, just get a lot of people around, and just make a nice little community and just have a good area where we could just talk about stuff and talk about sports. And it's just all fun and good vibes.
Okay. Now, what would be your ultimate sports job? Not ultimate sports network. Well, maybe I made that make sense. Okay.
I don't even know. I just love to go to games. So like I every once in a while I freelance some like NFL or college games, and that's always fun. So I'd love to be on the field doing stuff down there. It's always nice down there because you get to see everything from up close.
So when you made the transition from player to non-player, which all of us have to do at some point, did you think, wow, this is going to be a lot harder than it is, or were you already thinking about writing at that point anyway?
Honestly, I don't really think writing ever truly crossed my mind until I kind of went to college, and I didn't really know what I was going to do when I was about to go, but I knew I wanted to do something with sports. And sports writer always kind of just was like, yeah, that's something that's always an option. It's I can write. Never really had an issue that way, so it kind of grew into that, and I'm just ready to run with it now.
Cool. Now, if you had a sports bucket list, what are 5 events that you either want to see or you actually want to be there for? You don't necessarily have to like travel to Brazil to watch something, but if you could, what are like 5 things you'd say, man, I'd really love to do this?
One day I definitely want to go and try to freelance a game at every NFL stadium because I just want to see them all and just travel around. And I think that would be a really cool thing because then I get to experience like everything. Um, Definitely want to go to a Super Bowl. And then next time the Mets make the World Series, that's definitely the goal.
Well, yeah, that was pretty obvious, but okay.
They tripped themselves up too much, though. So that's
Yeah. Well, yeah. All right. So we have a natural thing here, and most sports fans have that the rival, the hated person, or the geographical difference. So I'm going to name a couple of them just off the top of my head. And what do you think of when you say Penn State, Pittsburgh, or Pitt, I should say?
Penn State, if they're on, they normally roll through those games. But it's always a fun matchup because normally it's a nice win and it's going to be a nice win and it's not really going to ever be much of a sweat. But, any given Saturday, anything can happen. So it's always nice to play the games because it's always pretty much a Penn State home crowd wherever they play.
Okay. Mets, Yankees.
The Yankees lose.
Now here's the question I have for everybody. Is it better when the team that's your rival is better or worse?
I think right now it's going towards a great spot because both teams are kind of really good and they kind of have their cores, which are going to be around for a while. So it should be every time they match up, it should be a fun environment every time. And honestly, definitely got to go to some more of them. Didn't go to any of them this year. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
Even though they won the games, the team just like they frustrated me because it's like everybody struggles, but like the least you can do is just play smart baseball.
Right. Well, I have my Ohio State Michigan thing. I'd rather beat Michigan when they're 12-0 than when they're 5-7. I mean, let them think that they're really good and then crush them. Then that's what I want to do. All right, so we've covered a couple things there. We've covered Penn State. We've covered the Mets. What is it that you would say you'd like to know more about, sport or team or just in general?
I definitely want to get more into hockey. I've always tried, but I've never really sat down and like truly gave it the like full try. But it always seems like I used to go to games when I was like a kid, and they're always fun. So it's like something that I definitely would like to get more into.
Well, what I found, I've lived in 2 towns where they got expansion teams. I lived in Columbus, Ohio, when they brought in the Blue Jackets, and I'm out here in Las Vegas, and they brought in the Golden Knights. And they were both towns I didn't think were going to be able to carry hockey. Out here in the desert, who's playing hockey in the desert, right? But I noticed driving down the street, there were a bunch of little kids in little cul-de-sacs with nets out there on rollerblades. Okay, so maybe it's actually working. In Columbus, it just didn't seem possible, but they did have a very good minor league team there for a while, or maybe they weren't so good, but they had a good following, so they made that work. But the thing I found about hockey, as I've watched it more, I'm bombarded with it out here, is that those may be the best athletes in the world. Because they're doing all the things that everyone else is doing, handling the puck, stick handling, hitting each other, knocking each other, and they're on skates. I can't skate.
Yeah,
I can't. I tried. I'm not built for it. I don't know what it is. My ankles are too weak or something. I go about 4 feet. Now you got a 240-pound dude hitting you while you're on skates and you don't fall down. That's pretty impressive.
Oh yeah, honestly, and just getting right back up to it take me about 5-10 minutes to get back up.
Well, I wouldn't get back up, so stretch it, get me out of here. So when we start looking at hockey and other things, and the beauty of sport is that you are going to find more things that you like. So I never dreamed I would like hockey. I'm still not I'm still a novice, but I like watching it now. I don't understand all of it, but I like watching it. I'm wearing my Golden Knights jersey because I'm really trying to represent them. So, okay, hockey. What else? What else is it? Something that's kind of maybe not a mainstream sport that you go, this would be interesting to see.
I guess probably like soccer too. I never was a big soccer guy at all, but like I feel like the World Cup and stuff like that, they're always fun to watch, and it's also another good thing that you could another thing to bet on. It's a little fun here and there, but never really actually like sat down and like truly enjoyed it.
Well, I have a reason for that. Okay, you played baseball, and I've yet to have seen too many baseball playing soccer players, or vice versa. It just doesn't work. I don't know why. They're even played, at least for where I grew up, in different seasons. But you rarely had baseball playing soccer players. And you would take soccer players that were the best athletes in a school and put them in the batting cage, and they couldn't figure out how to hit a ball. Like, you've never swung a bat before? No. How is that possible? Well, they played soccer instead. And I guess the summer is spent playing soccer or baseball. You don't combine the two. So that's one thing I think. One thing I found interesting, and you're in that area where I think it's getting close. I don't know. You're New England, almost Canada kind of thing. I'm trying to figure out the passion for curling. Is that a sport or not?
Yeah, I guess too. Yeah, so I guess an Olympic sport too. Yeah, honestly, I don't know how you even get good at that. Like,
you got to freeze your butt off for one thing. I said, well, okay, we're going to go out on this patch of ice and stand here for 2 hours. You up for that? No, I live in the desert. Of course I'm not up for that. So, all right. So let's give the people one thing to look for in your writing. What will you say? Hey, you want to take a look at this because this is something I really think you're going to like.
Hopefully just some good insight and hopefully some good picks and some winners. Okay. I got to go on a run, get hot, and it'll be some fun.
All right. So you mentioned that, and we've mentioned this in almost every show just because I'm bragging. Do you play any fantasy sports, any of that stuff?
Yeah, I'm in a fantasy football league this year. I was doing really well the first 2 weeks or first three weeks, and last week I just lost to the worst team in the league because Daniel Jones scored 50 points on me.
Yeah, that happens. How did your draft go? What did you think of your draft after it was done?
So my team was actually really solid. I had Russell Wilson, Dalvin Cook, Montgomery, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Lockett, who were the number one and like 3 receivers the first 3 weeks, and were single-handedly carrying me. And then, of course, both of them have their worst game in the same week.
Of course.
Like 4. But other than that, it's been pretty solid, honestly. Trying to win this year. I got to definitely have the best team. It's just now that Montgomery's hurt. Now
right. How do you fill in the blanks, right? Well, this is my, since I own the network, I'm going to brag. I had quite possibly the worst draft I've ever had. I drafted one player that I really wanted, and the rest I kind of went, I got Tyreek Hill. And I thought I was going to be able to pair Kelsey and Hill together, but the guy before me took Kelsey. Then I was going to try and take this guy that took, and I was going to try and take that. So everyone that I took, I really settled for. It wasn't a pick that I really wanted to make. I mean, I'm not upset with the guys that I got, but I'm sorry, the other one was Terry McLaurin, the other one that I wanted to get at that spot. I went, okay, I guess, I'll take Debo Samuel. I don't even know who's throwing the ball to him, but sure. I mean, that was a later round pick. And this guy, and that guy, and that guy. And I just thought it was a lousy draft. Last weekend, 3 guys beat the team I was playing. That's by the end of Sunday night, and I think they still had 3 people left to play. But I was up 115 points. And 3 guys scored 105. It was McLaurin, Tyreek Hill, and Debo Samuel. And I went, wow. I didn't need to play anybody else. I could have benched everybody else and still won. Now, and then they had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams and Daniel Carlson. So I probably would have had one more person to play that scored another 25 points. But I'm like, I don't know. I thought the worst draft. I've lost one game by 2 points. And Ezekiel Elliott had to have 32 points to beat me that game. And other than that, I've just been walking through, and I don't know. I mean, I haven't made any changes. I've added 1 player, and I made no lineup adjustments. It was an auto draft base is what it was. Because I guess I'll take him. I really didn't have any input in it. So that's my key now. Don't do anything. Hands off. So.
Yeah, I didn't trust the Bears this week, so that's why I set Mooney on my bench. And I honestly thought after last week, Freiermuth saw like 7 targets and caught a touchdown, that he would see a nice amount of catches and a touchdown against a nice matchup, and he proceeded to only get 1 target, which he caught for 11 yards. And that's
how it works, isn't it? Well, okay, so let's do this. Let's tell everybody where to find you. Obviously on the Ultimate Sports Network. Where else?
So my Twitter account is at Ryan Pesciotta, Pesciotta. And honestly, that's pretty much where I normally I spend all day on Twitter. I like to use it to just research and just keep stuff right in front. But yeah, then every day I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff up every day. So.
And of course, the name of your show on the Ultimate Sports Network is
Ryan's Sports World.
There you go, Ryan's Sports World, and check out the logo. Let's give a shout out to the person that designed your logo. That is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, shout out to my friend Carl Hunter. Did a great job despite not getting his package when it was supposed to come. Amazon lied, but we got it done.
That's okay. So if anyone's looking for a logo to be done, maybe Carl might be the person to see if you don't mind it taking a week longer.
Oh, yeah, no.
Just kidding, Carl. Just kidding. Well, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. And we're going to see a lot more from you. Check out Ryan's blog, Ryan Sports World. It is on live now. Subscribe to the Ultimate Sports Network. You're going to see this on the teaser package on YouTube and Twitter and everything else. But come read what Ryan has to say. It's really good stuff. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Enjoy your day.